have a strong relationship with God. How someone living here does not know the Arabic and reading a translation can have a strong relation with God? Or is there any way without reading Quran can we have a good relation with God?
As I said, if you don't need, if you don't, you're not conversant with the Arabic language, you always have the opportunity to read the Quran in the language that you know. It could be Urdu, it could be English, it could be any other language. So even if you're living here and you're not conversant with the Arabic language or Quranic Arabic, just read the translation in the English language. And it's like God talking to you. And it would be very unfortunate that if we just read the Quran without understanding the message of the Quran, it's not going to have any effect on yourself. So the way out or the way forward is that Quran connection, as I said, one is the optimum level or the best level, and that is through learning the Arabic of the Quran. When I say Arabic, I mean, I'm not just saying reading the Nazara Arabic that you're just able to recite to the Quran. No, what I'm saying is understanding a new language. It's like learning a new language. So learning Quranic Arabic in which you don't need a translation. That is what I was referring to, and that's just a question of 1 year maybe, or 5 days a week learning, 1 hour per day. But until you are able to accomplish that, as I said, you can read the Quran, pick it up from any place. In fact, I can even recommend 3 steps to you regarding people who are not conversant with Quranic Arabic in the first place, the short-term goal. So first of all, I think Quran is a book that has to be introduced to its reader. It is something that you should have prior knowledge of. It's a 500-page or a 600-page book, so it's not wise to plunge into the book first up. So my suggestion would be that first read a good introduction to the Quran. There are some introductions available here. There are several other introductions that you can find on the internet or maybe by other scholars. But it's always wise that you have a prior introduction to the Quran regarding the language of the Quran, regarding the topics that it speaks of, its history, its arrangement, its sequence. So this will give you a proper perspective of the Quran itself. So once you're through with that, the second step is to, again, not go directly into the Quran, but to read a selection sort of a thing, an anthology of the Quran. And there are several anthologies which people have compiled. There are a couple of ones here as well. So these anthologies are meant to give you an overview of the Quran. It's like letting you know it's like giving you a glimpse of the Quran. So this would be the second step. The first step is to read an introduction to the Quran. The second would be to read selections from the Quran. And once you are through with these 2 steps, the third step would be start reading the Quran from the beginning, as I said, with any language, in any language that you're comfortable of. And at the same time, do have that long-term goal in front of you that you are able to read, you're able to understand Quranic Arabic one day, so that your dependency on a translation is diminished. And why I say this? I say this because you see the power and the effect which the original Arabic words can have on your heart and on your soul and on your mind is unmatched. Reading a translation, of course, will maybe, it will be instrumental in making you aware of the meanings. But when you read God's words in His own language and you're able to understand, the impact it has on your own self is unmatched. It's tremendous. So that is why it is highly recommended that this long-term goal should also be before our eyes.